I think it couldn't come at a better time. The break, and actually, there's a world where actually playing Everton first game back is actually a really, really positive thing. At home, it could be a real occasion. It could be a real night for the players, for the fans, for everyone to go right. Everything else is done. We've only got one thing to focus on now. So there's a clarity there.
Yes,
we're only playing for one trophy. This is it. We need 5 wins. Bollocks out of the bath on this one. Let's go full throttle. We've got there's nothing else on the agenda. There's no midweek, no weird midweek Champions League games to focus on. It's all about this. So in that context, I think it could be a really, really positive experience. But we do need to start seeing some squad rotation as well, because that's what it's there for, and that's what I was saying at the top of the show. We've got these players. We've got players like Elliott. We've got Chiesa. We've got Endo as well. The international captain. Like, let these players play a part. That's what they're there for, And in games against Everton, where it's not going to be pretty, I don't think. You use your squad, bring these fresh legs in, let these lads have a chance, because there's no, as I say, there's nothing else to play for.
I'm really torn on this Everton game, because I think one of the things that we've sort of praised the manager for, especially earlier in the season, it's maybe been the thing where the mask has sort of slipped a little bit, especially after the Goodison derby, where he's obviously, full of emotion, and I think we play a little bit into Everton's hands that night by being as emotional as we were. I actually wonder if whipping up the emotion for this will be a good thing, like given the way the last few weeks have now gone for Liverpool, given the way we've gone out of these competitions, given the way there has been a lot of sort of disappointment from the players as much as from the fans. Well, I think you've seen the players expressing disappointment in games, being able to have a big break and then basically having like a really emotional fixture may just play into our hands, and again, that's not to it's not to degrade or disrespect Everton in any way, who I think there'll still be a degree to which they'll want it to be an emotional fixture. They'll obviously be aware that it's not going to be a game that's played on their terms atmosphere wise this time, because it's at Anfield. It's obviously a midweek under the lights game, so hopefully that's another factor that works in our favour with it being Anfield, when there's all these questions about the atmosphere and all these things. Hopefully, if the atmosphere at Anfield can't be good for a midweek Merseyside derby, then I honestly don't know when it can be good for, when the league title's on the line and all these things. We've got to go out there and seal that and make sure of that now. So I actually wonder if this comes at the best possible time, where you basically have that really uber emotional game against Everton that gets you back on the horse after a really disappointing week. But that week is now, 2.5 weeks in the rearview mirror with the international break and the lack of an FA Cup fixture. I actually wonder if you're Virgil van Dijk, for example, and maybe to a degree if you are on a slot, you're actually not changing the message completely as such, but you're tweaking the message to be, listen, everything else now is gone. Like even the game at Goodison, I wouldn't if I was them be channeling that as such. I'd just be saying this is the one where if there's any we're going to leave it all out on the pitch for, we absolutely leave it all out on the pitch. We treat this like it is
it's PSG.
Exactly, we treat it like it is a cup final. I know on recent evidence it might not be a good example to treat it like a cup final, but you pour everything into this, you leave absolutely everything out on the pitch, because this is effectively the one that gets our heads right if we can go and win it, and it won't be easy.
I think, we could have been playing, let's say, a Crystal Palace at home on the Saturday at 12:30. There you go, that's a bigger banana skin.
Yeah.
Because what's the state of the crowd like? What's this with the players' mindset? You're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more that if you want the chance of a reset and reminder of who you are, this is it. The other side of the coin, we're up against a team heavily motivated to say we got through a season unbeaten against Liverpool. We put a dent in their title challenge. They're well organised and losing less football matches under David Moyes. Tell you what, I want to quickly go around the table before we move past the Everton game on us. I want you to all pick me, because I think we'd all agree if we were picking the defence and midfield that we think given the availability that Slot would pick for Everton. I don't think there's many choices. I don't think anyone's suddenly saying Szoboszlai out, Elliott in or anything. We know what we're doing. McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and the back five will be the back five. But pick me your front three in turn, each of you, starting with you, Mike, for the Everton game, assuming injuries don't get worse.
I think Salah's a given.
Yeah.
And then you start to have a conversation around where's Gakpo's fitness level at, what minutes does he get for the Dutch, what he looks like in training, etc. So that's an unknown. I don't know. I assume Jota. But again, as James said, I think he just looks a different footballer at the minute, and I don't know quite why quite whether that's the injuries are picking up on, and that's that. It just happens to footballers. Happened to Michael Owen. Happened to Daniel Sturridge. Happened to countless hundreds of footballers before. Will happen to countless hundreds of footballers.
Yeah.
Next sort of thing, and Jota just looks like that at the minute.
So we're not picking him.
But I think he will start him, because I don't think he'll start Nunes.
Okay. Also, I think it's. I don't know who Portugal have got, but Jota isn't a first pick for them. He gets a game, but he's not a first pick.
So at the minute, I think it will just be as is. Jota, Nunes, Diaz, depends on the Gakpo conversation.
Depending how Gakpo gets on.
I said Nunes there, didn't I? Salah, Jota, Diaz.
Same as the final. Okay, James.
Same as the final, yeah.
What do you think, James?
Yeah, I agree with Mike. I think that's what he will go with. The same again. I would love to see. I'd love to see Nunez start. For all he's been this season, and Josh is absolutely right what he said before. He's not been good enough for Liverpool Football Club. He hasn't performed, like a multi-million-pound striker. However, in light of Jota's recent performances, I'm not sure if I was picking the team I'd have much of an option. I'd put him up top with Salah on the right, with Elliott coming off the bench in the second half for some legs and some excitement and some trying to beat players, which Salah hasn't done in much of in recent weeks. And then again, it comes down to Gakpo's fitness. But if you can get a tune out of Gakpo, I'd 100% start him over Diaz.